We have massive Dodger news. The Dodgers are all in on one of baseball's most exciting players in Randy Arozarena. Hey, this is Mike Nelson of Dodgers Digest. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. You know, right now, 98% of you that are watching the videos have not subscribed yet to our new Dodgers channel. We want to make sure you're subscribed. That way you don't miss out whenever me or Brad upload videos. So make sure to subscribe. The 2% of you that are subscribed, I want to thank you for subscribing and for liking these videos. It really goes a long way. Let's get right into the story. The Dodgers are all in on Randy Arozarena, it seems like. We got a report from Mark Feinsand of MLB.com that's reporting the Dodgers just are seeking a significant offensive upgrade in the outfield. The Dodgers have been already tied to, White Sox star Louis Robert Jr., but it looks like now Randy Arozarena is also on the Dodgers' radar. This is like kind of the first time we're getting an official, reporter, reporting on this and actually confirming that. During the offseason, there was some reports from unverified sources that, Randy was a person of interest for the Dodgers, was a player of interest for them. But now we're getting some real reports that it looks like the Dodgers are really interested in getting Randy for this playoff run, getting him here for this stretch run. The trade deadline is on July 30th. The Dodgers are in win mode right now. They're getting ready to make a deep run to build, one of the best teams ever in baseball history. And they think maybe Randy is that missing piece. Very exciting news for sure if you're a Dodger fan. One of baseball's most exciting players, on his way to California maybe. So, what does Randy Arozarena bring to the table? I think that's what everybody's kind of wondering right now. So, let's take a look at his last 5 games. Last 5 games, he's picked up, a few home runs here. 3 home runs in his last 5 games. Hey, I'll take that. 4 RBIs, in that July 20th game against the Yankees. He picked up 2 home runs, picked up 4 hits and 3 ribbies at Yankee Stadium in a 9-1 win. The Rays have been pretty awful this year. They've been, underperforming for sure. And Randy hasn't had the best of his years as well. He's kind of had a career low year. But in his last 5 games, he's been pretty solid. So, we'll take that. Now, let's look at, his career. Don't forget, Randy Arozarena started his career with the Cardinals back in 2019. I mean, the guy played for the Cardinals before, he joined the Rays. So, but, when he joined the Rays in 2020, he was kind of an unknown guy. And, he had kind of a quiet 60-game season. Remember that was a 60-game year. Hit 281, but he only had 7 home runs, which was a kind of surprising because, what ended up happening in the playoffs. But let's look at the next years. I mean, the guy won Rookie of the Year in 2021. I mean, he had 274. He had 145 hits that year. He had 20 home runs and 69 RBIs. The next year, he had 20 home runs and 89 RBIs. And also another key stat, between 2021, or basically every year since 2021, he's had over 140 hits every year. Well, he had 140 last year, but over 140 hits every year. That's not easy to do. Randy's going to get on base. The guy is a solid hitter. He's going to find a way to get on base, and that's the kind of player I want in the playoffs. Also, Randy picked up 41 doubles in 2022. Picked up 32 doubles in 2021. Let's not forget, this guy can run. He can run the bases. Picked up 32 stolen bases in 2022 as well. He's picked up already 14 this year. He might be on pace to get 25, 30, especially if he comes to LA. I mean, the guy can run the bases. I mean, that's exciting. You want to have that kind of action on the bases come playoff time, because stealing bases are very important come playoff time. I really think they are. And I think Randy can kind of bring that X factor. You already have Shohei Ohtani, who's one of the best players to steal bases on the Dodgers, and now you can add Randy as well. That's just going to make things tougher for other teams. But let's take a look at his postseason batting statistics. I mean, this is where it gets really, really interesting. 2020, I mean, the guy had 10 home runs in that playoff run. Let's not forget that. He had 10 home runs. He He picked up 3 home runs in the ALDS, 4 in the ALCS, and 3 home runs against the Dodgers in a losing effort. He had a quiet wild card run against the Blue Jays. He did hit 500, but didn't hit anything out of the ballpark. And then in that series against the Yankees in the ALDS, he completely just turned it around and was a monster at the plate. He basically carried the Tampa Bay Rays to that World Series. Yes, it was a bubble series, but he basically carried this team to the World Series. And looking at these stats, that is a historic run that he had in 2020. He did kind of slow down in 21 through 23 in the playoff runs. Hey, in 21, looking at his stats, he did hit 333, but ever since then he kind of did slow down. Hit 3 home runs. Had 1 home run and 3 RBIs in that 21 run. Since then, he hasn't knocked any runs in. But I'm sure if he gets on the Dodgers, he will be knocking in some runs because the Dodgers are going to have their players on base. But come on, looking at that 2020 run, you have to respect Randy as one of baseball's maybe going to be a legend moving forward after just that run that he had in 2020. That alone, you got to respect the players. So the question is now, should the Dodgers make this trade? I think that's what everybody's kind of wondering, and I think you already know the answer. I'm already putting Randy Arozarena in a Dodgers jersey. I'm excited. Let's get Randy. Come on, Andrew Freeman. Do your magic. Get on the phone. We've seen you before Dodger games at Dodger Stadium, on the phone, making the deals. We had the best guy to make the trades. And like I said, that's got to excite you as a Dodger fan. Bringing in one of baseball's most exciting players to already a very good team, right? The Dodgers are already one of baseball's best. It's one of the best teams ever assembled in baseball history. And if we can add a player like this to our roster, that's just going to probably take us over the top. We're going to be unstoppable. I don't see the Phillies or Yankees putting together a lineup like this. So this is huge news for Mark Feinsand of MLB.com, who, of course, reported earlier today that the Dodgers are all in on Randy Arozarena, a player that has been on LA's radar for the last few months. Basically going back to the offseason. This is the first time we really get a real source reporting on it. But you already know my answer. The Dodgers should make this trade. You might have to sacrifice, like I've talked about in previous videos, a player like James Outman that could have, some upside to his future career endeavors. But I think you got to take that chance if you're going to bring in a star player, an exciting player like Randy Arozarena.